Ball player props here for Thursday, September 22nd. We got college football, 3 games here today. Before I get started, though, there's a link in the description below to sign up for PrizePicks, or you can use code TUFF to sign up. They will match 100% of your first deposit. There is also a free Discord link in the description, as well as a Patreon link where I give all my plays, all my bonus plays, every single day, every single sport that I do play: college football, MLB, NBA, NFL. Multiple Patreon posts every single day. So go ahead and check that link out in the description below. Well, we got 3 games here on a Thursday, September 22nd. Also, Thursday Night Football going on. But 3 college football games today, which is definitely fun if you are a sports better. But you can see your West Virginia versus Virginia Tech, Coastal Carolina, Georgia State, and Chattanooga versus Illinois. All 3 games in the PM, 4:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m., 5:30 p.m. start times. Again, three college football games Thursday. We got 3 tomorrow on Friday, and then of course the Saturday slate. So definitely some midweek fun here on PrizePicks making these plays. But I'm gonna give 2 total player props that I do like from these 3 games. Obviously, PrizePicks has been kind of moving these lines already quite a bit. So again, if you see lines you like to play, make sure you guys are locking it in, because these lines will move. Also, do want to mention I'm not a gambling expert. This is not financial advice. This is not gambling advice either. These are just plays I'm personally looking at making. But let's get into it, you guys. 2 total player props that I like from Thursday, September 22nd, college football slate on PrizePicks. Let's go. So the first one's going to be a fantasy score prop, and we're going to go with the quarterback for Georgia State, Darren Granger. I'm going to take the over here on this one. Darren Granger, you can see here, on PrizePicks, has hit this over his last 2 games this season. First game, South Carolina had an SEC opponent, had 17, but faced NC, I think this is North Carolina, had 28.9, and then against Charlotte had 35.12. But Darren Granger, as you can see here, dual threat guy, 9+ carries in all 3 weeks so far this season. 43 yards rushing, 75 yards rushing, 54 yards rushing, which is obviously going to help and be beneficial to him getting that fantasy score up. He's coming off a game though against Charlotte, which was a shootout, 42-41, where he had put up 343 yards passing and threw 4 touchdowns. Against UNC, which many consider to be a very substantial opponent, still had 186 and 3 touchdowns against them, and 18 carries for 75 yards rushing. But I like this play here for Darren Granger against Coastal Carolina, which I do believe this game to be a shootout. Vegas has the line set at 62, which is, again, the highest of any game on the slate today. And look at these slates, the over-unders for the games tomorrow, 54, 46, and 45. So 62, Vegas predicting this to be a shutout, so I'm going to play that accordingly. Coastal Carolina has been in some shootouts already this season, right? So Coastal Carolina, coming off a game where they played Buffalo, who are 0-3. Coastal Carolina, by the way, is 3-0. But they played Buffalo, and they let the quarterback of Buffalo had 264 and 2 TDs, 2 picks, but still 264 and 2 tubs, which is decent. And I wanted to share this too. Coastal Carolina played Gardner Webb, and the Gardner Webb QB had 403 yards passing and a TD, right? And 16 carries for 10 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So this guy, Bailey Fisher, the quarterback for Gardner Webb, went absolutely crazy against Coastal Carolina. Buffalo QB had 264 and 2 TDs. I'm definitely thinking Darren Granger can meet that somewhere in the middle at bare minimum. I think 22.5, pretty reasonable here for Darren Granger. The line is 60.5. Expect this game to be pretty high scoring, or 62, sorry. The line is 62. Give the Georgia State around maybe at least half those points. Get Darren Granger, has a great chance to hit 22.5. Also, Georgia State doesn't have a crazy running back as far as just like that they can just feed and be a complete bell cow. Taking a look at this game against Charlotte real quick. They got T. Gregg here for 100 yards, right? But they also give Marcus Carroll touches, and them being able to run the ball here, obviously against Charlotte, who's not a premier, I guess you could say a premier rush defense, as far as comparison to other teams. But Darren Granger here in a great spot, in my opinion, at 22.5 fantasy score to hit the over on this one, taking him. And then the next one is going to be a fantasy score again, and it's going to be a wide receiver, and it's going to be wherever he is, Bryce Wheaton, over 17.5 fantasy score here. Now, Bryce Wheaton, 2 games this season before this blowout against Tosin, had a 30.7 and 40.2 fantasy points. All right, now taking a look at Bryce, he's just been, take away this game against Tosin. Against Pitt, shootout, 38-31, first game of the season. He had 9 catches, for 97 yards. So already just yards and points, yards and receiving, yards and reception. Sorry, that's 18.7 points. He hit the over. Kansas, he had 11 catches for 152 yards. And I mean, against Tosin, which he wasn't even really needed to complete blowout, 65-7, he had 4 catches for 47 yards. Right, so he's the number one wide receiver for JT Daniels, who is going to throw the ball. JT Daniels, he's a pro-style quarterback. They want him to sling the ball. The offense that they're kind of implementing is similar to an offense that, he's used to playing. He played at SC. So Bryce Wheaton definitely going to get his looks. I mean, he's got a game. Look at these. I mean, the game log here speaks for itself, in my opinion. I expect this to be a pretty close game. The Vegas has the over-under set at 50.5, so not crazy low scoring, but at the same time nowhere near 62. So I definitely think Bryce Wheaton is going to get his opportunities. We saw Landon Parker here go 5 catches for 98 yards against Virginia Tech, and then also we saw Ali Jennings, the third, have 5 catches for 122 yards for Old Dominion against Virginia Tech. So there has been some liabilities there as far as Virginia Tech allowing number one wide receivers on other teams score and get some receiving yards. So I like Bryce Wheaton here over 17.5 fantasy score against Virginia Tech, which I do expect to be a closer game, but nonetheless 17.5 seems pretty attainable for a player like Bryce Wheaton. Clearly hit the over in these 2 close games. If he can get fed 8 to 9 catches, 100 plus yards just without a touchdown, that should be easy over in my opinion. So taking these 2 plays here, Darren Granger over 22.5 fantasy score for Georgia State, and Bryce Wheaton, West Virginia wide receiver, over 17.5 fantasy score. I'm gonna obviously get my Patreon plays for Thursday. College football slate, we got 3 games like I said. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about these props. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and as always, have a great day.